Hi, it's Pinky Nightwalker, and this is my first YouTube video. The first video of many, I hope. And in this video, I am going to discuss with you some changes that I made to my Glock pistol. This is my Glock 43, and what I have done to this pistol is change the sights. And let me show you before we get started that the gun is empty, nothing in the magazine well, nothing in the barrel or chamber, okay? And for now, we'll just leave the gun open because we're not going to demonstrate anything that requires us to close it. So we'll leave it in the absolute safe position here. And there is no one near me in this room, and there is no live ammunition. In fact, there is no one in the house with me. So, and we are quite a distance away from any other homes. All right, Glock 42 pistol, or 43, excuse me, is a 9mm 6-shot magazine capacity compact or subcompact pistol. The original sights are typical Glock plastic sights. This was the rear sight from the factory, and this is the front sight, okay? There is nothing wrong with the plastic sights, but I chose to upgrade them simply because of the fact that this is a concealed carry pistol. This is the one that I use and primarily carry, and I wanted to ensure that I had a good sight picture, or I could get a good sight picture in both daylight and low light, okay? And I'm not talking about shooting in darkness or things like that. I am just saying in low light conditions where black against black, if they're full metal sights, or in this case here, the plastic sights have some white outline for contrast or a white dot, but they really don't show up very well, or if at all, in low light. So I went on a little shopping trip and picked up a set of, these are Ameriglo brand night sights, okay? And these Ameriglo night sights are called the Pro IDOT. They are Ameriglo number GL-205. And these can be used on both a Glock 42, which is a .380 caliber pistol, or a Glock 43. These are made specifically for these two pistols, and pistols in those family of pistols, because since this gun came out, they've added the 43X and 48, which are identical in most respects, and in the areas that count, which is the dovetail cut in the slide and so forth like that, these sights can probably be used, okay? But going back to these sights, when I took off the old sights, they came off rather easily. I simply used a Glock brand tool to remove the screw that holds the front sight in place. And you have to use a prescribed tool, because the screw, if you look at it, the head on it is very thin and very shallow. And trying to use something or improvise something, you have a good chance of stripping that and making it very difficult to remove, and probably end up going to a gunsmith if you don't have a way to extract that. Also, too, is I have a pusher tool, a universal pusher tool, which is used to install and remove rear sights, and can be used for Glocks or other pistols where it'll fit. Okay, taking off these sights was not a problem. They come right off. They're plastic. They have a little metal insert in the bottom. If anyone of you hasn't tried this yet, this is what you're going to see when you take this sight off of the gun. This is sort of a piece of spring steel that when you're forcing this, when the factory puts this sight into the dovetail, this little metal piece in here expands, okay? So it's not just plastic against metal, because you can't see that when that's in the slide. So if you're wondering how that's held in place and how durable it is, that should give you an idea. And by the way, I've never had a Glock factory plastic sight, either front or back, fail during any use. I've heard other people on YouTube and other places complain about the durability of them. I never had an issue, okay? So I think, you have to be cognizant of the fact that they are plastic. I wouldn't try any of those tricks where people try to rack the slide on their pistol belt or against a table using the rear sight. You're opening yourself up for a problem. Okay, let's get rid of these sights here. We don't really need them right now. We're kind of done with those. But I just want to say about the sights themselves. There was a dramatic difference. When I took these sights, or I took this gun to the range and shot it the first time, it appeared to be shooting very high. And that took a little getting used to, simply because the orange insert, orange trinium, it's actually a trinium with orange paint around it, has a different appearance in the rear notch. There was nothing wrong with the sights. In fact, they're a significant improvement, in my opinion, over the factory sights. So with these sights, the object of the game is very simple. You take the orange dot on the front sight, align it through the groove or aperture of the rear sight, and as you can see here, there's a trinium vial, a dot in the bottom here. Both of them actually glow in low light, okay, after they've been exposed to regular light. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a figure 8. I'll try to get that a little bit for the camera. You're going to put the orange ball on top of the white ball and then put that on target accordingly. Very quick, very quick. I will say that they're not super, super bright, but they are adequate, more than adequate. I paid about $65 for these sights. I bought them on Amazon. I think that they're a good value. So right now they don't interfere, and this is one thing you should always be aware of too. Changing the sight sometimes on a gun, you can run into a problem depending on the holsters that you have. You might run into interference and stuff like that. Just be aware of that could alter or become a factor with some of your holsters and so forth. So anyway, that kind of wraps up my video here. By the way, this is a great shooting gun. It shoots to the point of aim at 12 yards, no issues. The Glock itself this is a fine gun. I have a 26, 27. I also have the 10 millimeter and 17 Gen 5 MOS and Gen 5 19 MOS. Maybe one of these days we'll take those out and I can show them to you and go from there. You might enjoy those videos. I'm not planning on doing any range videos right now. It's January. I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania, and like most of the times in January, it's going to snow. In fact, the forecasters are predicting now 2 to 6 inches of snow, freezing rain, and sleet. So no range time this week, at least this week. All right. Pinky has, and I'm Pinky. Pinky has other interests that he'd like to show on YouTube and maybe provide some information for my viewers. And if you looked over here, I know that, excuse me, if you look over here, you would have seen this key fob, okay? And this key fob If someone isn't familiar with it, I'll tell you what it's for. It's for a Tesla. I have a Tesla, a 2017 Tesla Model 75D, and I am interested in electric vehicles, not just cars, but electric vehicles in general. And maybe we can do a couple videos on the Tesla. I think it's something that people today are looking at as an alternate source to gasoline and may have some questions about it. If you don't own one, or if you live in an area, say other than where I live in northeastern Pennsylvania, you might wonder, how is this going to work out for me in the snow? Or things like that, or on extended trips. By the way, I've taken the Tesla on some rather long trips, which I did to challenge myself with it to see whether or not range anxiety was justified. And let me tell you right now, I'll tip my hand there, it wasn't. I had no issues. I live in northeastern PA, and I took this my Tesla to Cape May in New Jersey, and I also took it to New York and went up past Watertown and to Alexandria Bay. And again, no issues. The charging went well. Have to add a little extra time, but it worked out. And so for now, I'd like to wrap up this video and say that I do enjoy shooting. I will probably do a few videos on firearms, but I don't want to limit it to that. I would like to have an open channel, and based on some of my viewers' comments or questions, use that and follow through. So that's it for today. Pinky wants to wish everybody a happy Chinese New Year, which is coming up. And I know a few of my friends are Chinese, and I wish them the best for their New Year and ours as well. And thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Bye.